Have you been setting arbitrary goals for yourself for how many jobs you should apply to each week or each month? Well, good news, you get to cut that out. Hey everyone, it's Emily, the Career Catalyst, and I know that can be a very tempting thing. We'll often just kind of set goals for ourselves. I'm going to apply to 30 jobs this week, or I'm going to apply to whatever 100 jobs this month, or whatever it is. In fact, I once worked with someone who had been told by a presumably well-meaning person that in order to network effectively, this person had to be reaching out to 100 new networking contacts every week, which is ridiculous. And you can't do that. You won't have time for anything else. I am practically a professional networker, and I can assure you I do not connect with 100 new people every week. I probably get closer to 100 new people every year. Here's the thing about these arbitrary goals. They're arbitrary. They're numbers that we often set for ourselves because it sounds good or because someone has told us that that's sort of what we ought to strive for. But except for example, if you need to keep up your unemployment payments, there's not really a reason to be applying for a particular number of things over a particular chunk of time. What I really encourage you to do instead is to spend some time looking at the things that are interesting to you. So instead of setting a number for yourself, just set a goal for yourself to find interesting things to apply for. Now, depending on where you are in your job search, interesting can mean a few different things. If you're starting to feel a lot of anxiety around finding something, or if you're really feeling very short on cash, then interesting can mean not objectionable, right? You can certainly apply for things that look fine and look like you could do them. These are kind of the soft landing place jobs that I encourage people to look for if things are feeling really tight. So that could be just anything that feels like, sure, I could do that for a while. These don't have to be great jobs. They just have to be not awful. And they're really there to kind of get you to the place where you can think about the thing you really want next. If you have more room, more savings, more of a financial cushion, then you can be a little bit pickier and really aim for the things that kind of get you going, the things that make you think, oh, I have some feels for that. So it really is going to depend a lot on where you are. The point, though, is that I wouldn't want you to feel like you have to spam every single potential job out there that seems like it's something that you might be able to do. You might be able to do it, sure, but among other things, if you're setting these number goals for yourself, then what you're probably doing is feeling a lot of pressure about, applying to the correct number of things each week or each month. And then what begins to happen for most of us is we begin to just kind of fling resumes out there willy-nilly in the hopes that anyone will interview us. And that works against us in a couple of ways. The first way is that employers can get that sense, of course. They don't especially want to hire people who don't especially want to work there. But also, if you do get interviews for things, you're going to have to go back and really seriously dig through all of the stuff you've applied for to figure out what that position is. You don't want to show up for an interview and not be clear about what the position is or who the employer is. And so if you do get interviews, definitely make sure you know who they are and what they do. Then you can sort of speak intelligently to what they have asked for in the job description. And it really complicates your life a lot to have to dig back through the 60 things you've applied for in the past couple of weeks to find the one thing that you've gotten an interview for. So I say this a lot, but I'm a huge believer in it, so I'm going to keep saying it. Apply for things that look interesting to you. Don't worry about numbers, and tailor your resume and your cover letter for each of those positions. What that does is it really underscores to the employer that you're interested in them, in the position, all of that stuff. And it really allows you to target the things that you know you could do and feel a little bit more excited about it so that when you do get interviews, you're going to be more prepared for them. You have to do kind of less of that scrambling around, figuring out what you want to say about why you would be a good fit for this job and so on. And what you'll find is that when you're really focused, when you're really applying for a specific number of things that you want to do or could do without feeling like it's objectionable, you're going to get more interviews. It's very human-centered, I guess you can call it. It's about you making those connections, and it's about you demonstrating that you want and can do this job. Whereas if you're just kind of spamming the internet with your resume for every single thing that you could conceivably do, employers are going to pick up on the fact that you don't especially want that job and probably largely ignore you. So little more time on fewer things. And again, try not to set those numbers for yourself. What you're going to find is that some weeks there's a whole lot of stuff that looks really interesting and you want to apply for. And some weeks there's nothing or almost nothing, and that's fine. That's just kind of a typical pattern. Job postings ebb and flow like most other things in life. So when you're not finding very much, don't worry too much about it. If you do need to prove that you're applying for things for unemployment, then certainly look for some easier entry point kinds of things. But don't freak yourself out too much. Go for the bare minimum that you need in order to keep that money coming in. And otherwise, really target the stuff that you want to or could relatively easily do. Just kind of remove a layer of complication from your life as you move forward in this. And, things are really tricky right now. The job market is still pretty tight. So give yourself a little bit of a break and keep those application processes pretty focused and pretty targeted. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. I will see you all here next week.